Hello, it's Tuesday, July 22nd, 2025, and we've had about a 2 to 3 week delay on continuing the project. The insulation people were having a hard time getting over here and doing their work, but that gave us time to kind of go through, clean up the job site, do a little prep for the next stages. And as you can see, I ended up putting some tape covers. I'm going to have to kind of tidy up some, make them more secure because they're kind of flopping loose. But anyway, one of the issues I always had in construction was I was the plumber, or I was the electrician, or I was the HVAC guy. And no matter what I would say to the other contractors, the drywallers, the plasterers, the painters, was that I wanted you guys to protect all the wires inside the boxes. Please, cover them, or, just make sure you don't just spit paint, plaster, whatever. And no matter what I said over the years, they just wouldn't do it. So always add a little extra cost to the bid to take care, or to give me an opportunity to do this extra labor of covering up all of the boxes with tape, just to prevent my equipment from getting sprayed on with plaster mix, paint, or whatever. We got the, this is a, what they call a air conditioning cassette. And basically this is gonna service this area of the kitchen area, the dining room area, and the entry living room area, and a little bit of the hallway. And we also have in the bedrooms, we got our refrigerant lines and our control power lines for what they call a wall cassette. And that's going to be one for each bedroom. This is one over here and one over there. But anyway, this video is just showing kind of how far we've come along with this project. And I don't think you guys remember, in an earlier video, I'm kind of walking through the job site. We got wood, lumber, just all over the place. And finally, after the carpenters left, we were able to get rid of a lot of the lumber, a lot of the wood, hardware, and whatnot. And then after that, we ended up having to run our main line for each of the units. So main line extends from the front of the house, and I'll show you where it enters the front of the house, and it goes underneath the house, and it comes through the original foundation, and then it extends underneath the new foundation and out, and it comes down here. And it's an inch and a half. This pipe is an inch and a half main feed. And I mean, we did the calculations for the customer and we told them 3/4 would be more than enough. But if you want to be a little more generous with your flow, we could run it in 1 inch. And they said, no, we want you to do 1.5 inches. So we gave them the bill, they paid it, and we put it in, no problem. Sometimes you got to be good at doing what you're told and not necessarily what you were trained as a professional to do. And I'm definitely an obedient servant. I'll do exactly what I'm told. But here we got everything just about in. I started installing this cassette, and you see the hoses haven't been hooked up, and on top of that is a box, and that's one of the wall units. I brought it to get the instruction guide in terms of installing it, because we're not going to be able to mount those until the drywall is put in. So I always read the manufacturer's installation guide. I do not assume that because I've installed these before that this particular brand is installed like every other brand that I installed. So I don't, it never hurts to read. And usually once the equipment is ordered, I'll get the packaging and stuff, or I'll read it online. But I knew I was going to have so much time before we even got to the point of putting this stuff in, that we get the equipment, I'll have plenty of time to open up the boxes, get the installation guides out and read them in preparation to do the install. So I created this little contraption to set the unit in place, and now I'm gonna complete the installation using what they call all thread. We got the little hooks that's gonna support the unit, and using all thread, I'll be able to perfectly level that. And, and we'll run our drain lines. And on this particular one, the outlet is right there, that little white hole. We're gonna extend it over this way and drop it down into the sink, or we can bring it this way and extend it over here and drop it down to enter into the P-trap over here. So we're making progress on this job. So far, we've had several inspections. We had foundation, insulation for the flooring and the framing, and then we had our rough mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. 2 inspections. The first one was beneath the floor. We tested that out, passed. Then the inspector told us to close everything up and document this and that. He'll come out and verify, and then we can go ahead and start building the walls and doing what we had to do. Pass that inspection. Then he says, okay, I'm coming back. I don't want you guys calling me until all the framing's completed, all the hardware is in for the framing, and I want you to bring all the plumbing through the floor, complete your rough, put everything under pressure. I want the water or the drain pipe under test. And under test is nothing. When I first got into plumbing or first got into the trades, whenever I heard, yeah, we got to put the plumbing under test, I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be so hard to do. And I'm like, I'm getting very anxious about everything. But the mystery, once the mystery is removed, you understand that it's not that big of a deal. So when you put a drain line under test, you have to cap off all the ends, cap off all the clean outs and everything. And then you have to fill the whole system up with water. So that means you have to plug up the outlet to the sewer. And we usually use what they call a bladder or balloon. And we'll inflate the bladder or balloon to plug up the drain. And then literally you take a water hose and you plug it in and you fill the water or fill the whole system up with water. And this is gonna reveal leaks if you have any. And if you do, you fail. If you don't have any leaks, you pass. So that's what I did. That's all. That's when they said I want it under test. That's the mystery that gets revealed to you by an expert plumber or somebody who's been in the business for a minute. So first time I was told I had to put it under test, didn't know what the hell they were talking about. And I wasn't a licensed plumber at that time. I was just green laborer out here. And so that's what it means to put a sewer pipe under test. And and then when you put the water system under test, they basically want everything pressurized. So this is the cold water, as you could see on the outside here. Fresh water comes in here, and then it goes through and supplies water to all of the fixtures. So we have a supply here to the hot water heater, and for the test, I created a loop of tubing that extended from here to here, so as to put water under pressure into the hot water side of the system as well. And so with that, I was able to check for leaks and everything, and we didn't have any leaks. So when the inspector came by, he'll come in like we have these beautiful, what I call hold right valves, and the system's still under pressure. So I can basically see, I can show you there's water in there. I let it run a little bit and see, that's water pressure. We haven't even put the thing on a regulator just yet. They're gonna need a regulator. We've got like almost 90 pounds of water pressure. Look at that. We got almost 90 pounds of water pressure coming into this building because we got an 1.5-inch water line. We don't need that much volume coming in here. But they just wanted to make sure that if everybody's running everything, that they would have pressure. But I'm telling you, if I looped this and put everything under test, and I did the same thing here, and we opened all of these water lines, all of them would be gushing out water like that. Just phenomenal volume. So for the added expense, it really wasn't worth it. But hey, who am I to not accept extra money to just upsize some pipe and run the same layout as I had planned? And these pipes here, we're gonna run the condensate drains today for the AC system. I've plugged this one in, refrigeration lines. The only thing that's left for this setup here is I have to strap the AC pipes, those two thick pipes, and the little black one's the wire electrical system. So I gotta properly strap those in. And then I also have to set thermostat. I'm gonna use this thing called Smurf conduit. And the reason why they call it Smurf conduit, because it's blue. And basically we're gonna run a wire through the Smurf conduit down to, I would say, we're gonna probably set it here, maybe above this board, and that's where our thermostat's gonna go to control this particular unit. All the other units have remote control thermostats, and we're gonna, after the dry waters come in, we're gonna put a little holder here right at the thing. So once you come in, you can just grab it, boom, turn it on, and cool this particular room. And I'll do another video on a personal note, because I think this is kind of what you guys are into. But in the event you guys are not into that and you're into building properties or fixing up, remodeling your place, I got another video that I did earlier this week showing the progress of a bathroom remodel. It's pretty much done. You guys should check that one out. It should be kind of in the vicinity of this video. Talk to you soon.